Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel where today, since it is now in the middle of the first week of preseason football action, we had 3 games last night, games today, game Saturday, and Sunday. I figured it was time to do my first initial NFL power rankings here now that football season is underway. As usual, we have our 5 tiers here. We got a Super Bowl tier. These are for the true top tier Super Bowl contending teams. Guys I can see easily making the Super Bowl and winning the NFL championship. Then we have divisional teams that will compete for the division titles, or teams that are in tough divisions that could also make a strong push for a conference championship or a Super Bowl if they get up some breaks here and there. Then we've got wild card teams that will be generally fighting for the 6-7 seed in the AFC and NFC. They're kind of teams on the border as well. You got teams that are just kind of meh, not really great, not really competing for playoff berths, but also not really down in the bottom tier, which is the #1 overall pick tier. Teams that are basically tanking the year and kind of seeing what they have the next season. So, before we get started, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, because it is now football season. And thank the Lord for that. So first here, we have the Arizona Cardinals, who I'm going to put in meh. I mean, they added a lot to their defense this offseason, really built out that defensive line. So I think they're definitely going to be better on that side. I don't know. Kyler Murray is an enigma to me. Because he's not a bad quarterback, but he's not a great quarterback either. And in a very difficult NFC, you kind of have to have a great quarterback to lead your offense. I mean, Marvin Harrison Jr. disappointed last year. Trey McBride is awesome, but he can only do so much, and James Conner is still a solid running back. But I don't know. I just think this team is like one piece away from really contending for a playoff spot, and I just don't see it for them this year. Next up is the Atlanta Falcons, who I'm also going to be putting into the meh tier. Oh, what the heck? That was weird. Yeah, the Falcons are also into the meh tier here. Mainly because it is truly up to how Michael Penix Jr. performs. Because they got an excellent offense. They got a very strong offensive line. They got Drake London. Who is there? Darnell Mooney as their second receiver. They still got Kyle Pitts there, who still can be solid. And they have Bijan Robinson. The defense is a little iffy, especially on the pass rush. They took a big swing with 2 first-round picks this year. To see if that works out for them. So the defense is going to be shaky, but it really, really depends on the development of Michael Penix Jr. to see how far this team goes. This team could potentially compete for the division title if things all go right, but they can also be in the top 5 of the draft if the quarterback does not work out. So they're kind of in this middle tier in the meh for me, so that's where the Falcons are at. Next up, Baltimore. They're a true Super Bowl contender. They got Lamar Jackson. They have Derrick Henry. They got a strong offensive line. They got some decent weapons. They got Mark Andrews. They got a great defense. And this team, if it weren't for a man named Patrick Stinkin' Mahomes and last year Josh Allen, they would probably have won a Super Bowl by now. But the AFC is just stacked with contenders. And the Ravens are definitely one of them. Definitely up there in Super Bowl contender tier. And also joining the Super Bowl contender is Buffalo. I mean, this is a team that just cannot get past Patrick Mahomes. He is their boogeyman, but I think this could be the year. I think we'll get into Chiefs later that it is kind of a wide open AFC now. And Buffalo, like Baltimore, is a strong contender because they have the reigning MVP in Josh Allen. They have a pretty solid defense. They got some weapons around there. Now, not as great of weapons as the Ravens does, but Josh Allen is that dude. And so, yeah, up there in Super Bowl contender for me is Buffalo. Next up is Carolina, who I'm going to put in #1 pick for now. I might change my mind later depending on who else I put there, but they're definitely on the high end of this range. I just think that their schedule is pretty brutal for them, but I think they're building something really nice down there. The defense is still going to be pretty bad. I mean, they're getting Derek Brown back, which is pretty big, but the rest of their defenses look good. But the offensive line looks solid. They got a big weapon for Bryce Young and Ted McMillan. Bryce Young and last year looked really good. They got Chuba Hubbard, who's a solid running back. And they're building something really, really nice there in Carolina. I just don't think the defense is going to let them be better than what their offense is going to make them be. But I definitely think they're a very, very solid team. Next up is the Chicago Bears, who I'm putting in the meh tier. I think the Bears have a good chance of making the playoffs this year. They got some solid weapons. They really upgraded their offensive line. Their defense is still pretty solid as usual. The thing with the Bears that is going to make or break their season is if Caleb Williams can take that step. He had a not so great rookie year. Took a lot of sacks, held on to the ball too long, made some dumb plays. Didn't throw picks, but still made dumb plays because he looked skittish. He looked scared a bit. Will Ben Johnson, newly hired coach of the Bears, be able to unlock Caleb Williams? Because he has all the tools around him. He has a good offensive line now on paper. We'll see how that happens in the season. He has DJ Moore. They just drafted him a second straight good receiver in Luther Burden after they got him Rome Odunze. I really like Luther Burden. I think he's going to be a good receiver. They still got a 10th overall pick on Cortland Loveland to be a tight end for them. They still got Cole Kmet as their tight end. They got a decent running game. It really comes down to Caleb Williams, and so right now I put him to the med because if quarterback is your big question mark, I'm going to have questions for you, and it'll be interesting to see if Ben Johnson can turn this franchise around. So it all relies on Caleb Williams for the Bears. Next up, Cincinnati Bengals, who I'm going to put in wild card for now because I do think that this team can make a wild card berth because of three people: Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins. These three guys are going to be insanely good for the Bengals. The question for the Bengals is if their defense can do anything at all. No idea what the Bengals are doing on defense. It is going to be an absolutely awful defense. They're going to be shootouts every single game. But the thing is, though, their offense can win those shootouts. So I think the offensive talent is so high for Cincinnati that it will overcome their defense for the most part and be a wild card team. So that's where they're at. Next up is the Browns. No idea what they're doing. No idea what the Browns are doing at all. I don't know what they're doing at quarterback. Are they going to start Joe Flacco or Kenny Pickett? Shador Sanders? They got Dylan Gabriel there. They just signed Tyler Huntley to be a fifth quarterback for some whatever reason. They don't really have anything on offense. One of the running backs they took got in trouble for domestic abuse. And their defense is basically just Myles Garrett and some dreams. So, yeah. The Browns are going to be bad. I think it's going to be hilarious to see them be bad. But we'll see how they do in the regular season. Next up is Dallas Cowboys. So I'm putting in wild card tier. Dak's coming back healthy. They have CeeDee Lamb. They got some decent offensive options. Defense, I have no idea what's going on with Michael Parsons. But the NFC is generally weaker than the AFC, so I think the Cowboys can make a push for a wild card berth, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for them, but I think they have just enough talent where they could be a contender. Next up is the Denver Broncos, who I'm putting in a wild card tier as well. They stuck in the wild card last year. Bo Nix had a very solid rookie year. They drafted a great running back in Marion Hampton. Their defense is incredibly strong. And this is a team who I think is just going to build off their experience of last year and honestly potentially compete for an AFC West title, I think. The AFC West, I think, is going to be an absolute bloodbath this year, and Denver's going to be right in the middle of it. Next up is the Detroit Lions, who I'm going to put in divisional. I think they lost too much in both coaching and on their offensive line to put them in Super Bowl contenders right away. Anytime you lose both of your coordinators in Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson, I know Lions fans are going to be like, oh, but we actually are good. Dan Campbell's demands. I'm not denying that Dan Campbell is a good coach. But especially early on in the season, getting into that rhythm, having those new play callers underneath Dan Campbell, because a lot of Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn took assistance away from Detroit as well. So that's a ton of different minds in there that are being lost by Detroit. That's going to be rough to start out the year. I really do think, especially when a guy like Jared Goff needs that kind of coaching and structure around him to succeed. It would be interesting to see how this Detroit offense and defense works next year. Because remember, before Aaron Glenn took over, that Detroit defense was garbage. Absolute garbage. And we don't know how Aiden Hutchinson is going to recover after his leg injury. That and also losing two starting offensive linemen. I'm of the opinion that Detroit is going to struggle during the early part of the year as they adjusted to new coaching. They adjusted with a new starting offensive line and getting that defense up and running. But this team is too talented to be so easily dismissed. I still think they're going to compete for the NFC North title and could be a strong contender in the NFC as well, dependent on how well they can replace those losses in the offseason. Another team I'm a little biased for, going with division, is the Green Bay Packers. I mean, this team, I think this is the year one that Jordan Love puts it all together and has a dominant year. Matthew Golden looks absolutely fantastic in camp. Offensive line is solid. They got good weapons. They got a good running game. And they have a good defense. There is no reason to me why this team cannot compete for an NFC North Division crown with the Lions. The one thing that is going to be terrible for every NFC North team is the schedule is brutal. I mean, the Packers' first 5 games of the year, they're home against Detroit, home against Washington 4 days later. They're at Cleveland, which should be easy. When they're at Dallas, which who knows what Dallas is going to be like in the regular season, bye week, and then at Cincinnati. That is a tough start to the year. But if the Packers can prove themselves that year, they can be a very strong contender. And I think they will be a strong contender this year. Also going to be a strong contender, Houston. I think they're far and away the best team in the AFC South. I think CJ Stroud is going to have a pretty solid year this year. He's going to have all the receivers. Nico Collins is going to be back fully for the whole year. And that defense, oh man, DeMeco Ryans and that defense is going to really, really put fear into their opponents. I think they'll be a very good team as well this year. Next up, Colts. They're number 1 pick territory. I mean, they're between Anthony Richardson, who just got hurt in his first preseason game. I mean, he should be fine, but still. And Daniel Jones as their quarterback. I know that the talent around them is solid. I cannot trust a team with Anthony Richardson or Daniel Jones as their starting quarterback. And for me, they're down to number 1 pick. Next up is Jacksonville, who I am putting in meh. They're going to be a fun kind of meh. Kind of like Chicago. Like all these teams in meh are going to be fun to watch and see how they develop. But Jacksonville, this is kind of like the last year of Trevor Lawrence potential, I think. If he doesn't prove this year with having another year of Brian Thomas Jr. and having Travis Hunter to throw to this year, and he still struggles as a quarterback, you got to talk about him as a potential bust for being a number 1 pick. This team has some good weapons around there, but they traded a lot to get Travis Hunter. It'd be interesting to see how this defense also responds with having Travis Hunter be part-time. So Jacksonville will be interesting mainly because of Travis Hunter, but Brian Thomas Jr. is also a fantastic player. And will Trevor Lawrence finally put it all together? We'll see. Next up is Kansas City. They're up here in Super Bowl contender. As long as they have Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, they will be Super Bowl contenders. But unlike other years where I thought they were the clear-cut favorite in the AFC, I don't see it anymore. It's been quite a few years since we've seen a dominant offensive year from Patrick Mahomes. He, in the regular season, is prone to too many turnovers. They've been lucky that their division kind of sucked for the past few years. It's getting a lot better now. And they're just getting older. I mean, Travis Kelce's probably his last year. Their defense is getting older. I still think they're going to be a very good team. Obviously, they're the Chiefs. They're the modern-day dynasty right now. But I could see some cracks beginning to form this year. But, again, once they get into playoffs, they just have another year. And I think they're always going to be that kind of team. So that's where the Chiefs are at. Next up, we have the LA Chargers. Wild card team for me. Like the Broncos, they are, I think, a very strong team. I think, no, wait, the Broncos didn't draft Aaron Hampton. The Chargers did. I got those confused. So, yeah, wild card. I think that the Chargers are going to be in a wild card mix as well. I mean, they got Aaron Hampton. They are really in this ground and pound mentality. I mean, Lavin Conkey is incredible. Defense is going to be fun to watch. Justin Herbert is going to be fun to watch as well. I think Jim Harbaugh is really turning around the culture here. And I think they're compete for a wild card tier again. So, yeah, they're up there for me. Next up is the LA Rams, who are in division tier for me. I think this team is the best team in the NFC West. I think as long as Stafford stays healthy, which I know he's having some back issues right now, that he will be this team will be good. Puka Nacua is incredible. I'm trying to remember I don't remember who they picked in the draft, but their defense was very, very good last year. Offensive line was solid. They just signed a running back to a contract extension here. So I think the Rams are going to be very, very good and compete for a deep playoff run as well. I mean, they were the team that was closest to beating the Eagles last year, and that Eagles team dominated most of their competition. So, yeah, Rams are good. Next up is the Raiders, who I'm going to put in meh, but like the Bears and Jaguars, they're kind of like that fun kind of meh. I think the Pete Carroll hire was very, very good. They got Geno Smith. They upgraded a quarterback. Ashton Genty is going to be fun to watch. They got some good weapons there. The defense, especially having fully healthy Max Crosby, is going to be pretty fun to watch. I still think they're like a piece or two away from really contending, but I think Geno Smith can hold the fort down for them. They get a young quarterback in next year's draft, and I think they can really start to hum there. So, yeah, Raiders in meh. And the Dolphins, I'm also putting in meh. I just don't see it with this team anymore. I mean, Tyreek Hill's just getting older. Tua's body is made out of glass. They just traded away Jalen Ramsey. I don't think the defense is going to be that good. I just think this is a team that kind of reached their peak a couple years ago, and they didn't even win a playoff game. So, yeah, I have no faith in the Dolphins at all. I think they're honestly going to be a pretty bad team this year. So, next up is Minnesota. Well, I'm going to put in a wild card tier. Again, kind of like how I discussed with the Bears, it's purely up to the quarterback. But unlike the Bears, who don't have a track record of having quarterback development, I think this Viking staff can make J.J. McCarthy a solid starting quarterback. And this team just needs, as we saw last year, a solid starting quarterback to make it into the playoffs and have a good year. I mean, they made Sam Darnold look good. That's how insanely talented Kevin O'Connell is. He can easily turn J.J. McCarthy into a good quarterback. But that's why they're not in divisional tier for me. We just simply don't know about J.J. McCarthy. We have nothing to go off. He missed his entire rookie year last year. He barely had to make throws in college because of the way Michigan played their offense. But he is throwing to Justin Jefferson and has C.J. Hawkinson and one of the best offensive minds of football. He should be okay, but until I see it, they're not going to be ranked that high for me. So that's where the Vikings are at. Next up is the Patriots. They're going to be number one pick territory. I mean, there's nothing around Drake May. They try to upgrade the offensive line. They got Will Campbell at number 4, which is better than nothing, but still, there's not really much there. I do think Mike Vrabel is going to be a really good culture guy for this organization, so I think that's going to be solid for them. Next up is the Saints. Again, number one pick territory. They have no quarterback. Are you going to tell me this team really is going to think Tyler Shuck is going to be a good starting quarterback? They don't really have weapons. They don't really have a defense. This is going to be a brutal, brutal team to watch, and they're praying that Arch Manning declares next year so they can get the second coming of Arch Manning the first. So, yeah, they're down there. And also down there is the New York Giants. This team has probably the hardest schedule in all of football. Not really fair to them because I do think they have some talent there. I think Russ is going to be a solid quarterback for them. Malik Neighbors is saying that defensive line is going to be unbelievably good. Are you kidding me? Got Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, Abdul Carter, and Kayvon Thibodeau all along the same defensive line. Yeah, good luck with that. But I think the schedule combined with not really trusting the Giants is going to keep them down below. Also, and the Jets are also going to be down here. I'm sorry. I don't see it in New York. Justin Fields is not a good quarterback. I don't think their offense is going to be good at all. The defense, I think, is going to be solid. I think Aaron Glenn's really going to have that unit humming, especially still having Sauce Gardner there and everything. But, yeah, I just don't see it with the Jets. I'm going to move the Colts down further. Next up is the Eagles. They're number 1, defending Super Bowl champion. They did lose some talent, but still, this is an incredibly talented team with one of the best defenses in the NFL. Jalen Hurts is a very, very good quarterback. Saquon Barkley is the best running back in the game. Got one of the best wide receiver duos in the league. A talented offensive line. They are probably going to be one of the 2 or 3 favorites to win the Super Bowl and repeat this year. There's not much else I need to say about the Eagles, so they're there. Next up, we have the Steelers. As always, they're always going to be in contention for a wild card team. They're going to finish 9-8, beat the 7th seed, and lose to the Bills. But this time they have it with Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf, which I think is going to be a better offensive product for them. But I think the defense is going to take a step back this year. So, yeah, there is the Steelers. Seattle, I'm putting in meh. I don't see it with Sam Darnold. He had one good year in his career with Kevin O'Connell and Justin Jefferson. The Seahawks don't have an offensive line. They don't have a great weapon group. They literally have JSN and that's it. And I think Sam Darnold, without having that coaching from Kevin O'Connell, he's going to start seeing some ghosts again. I don't see it. I don't see the vision bringing Sam Darnold when Geno Smith could have been 1 or 2 good years for you. But it's just, yeah, I don't see it at all with the Seahawks. Next up is San Francisco, who I'm going to put into wildcard tier. San Francisco is getting old. I don't know how Christian McCaffrey is going to act after his knee issues that he needed to go to Germany for. It's going to be interesting to see if Brock Purdy can now kind of carry a lesser group of weapons, because we don't know how Brandon Ayuk is going to be. I mean, Jawan Jennings is solid. Ricky Pearsall, don't know how he's going to be this year. They still have George Kittle. They still have somewhat of a defense. Offensive line is kind of outside of Trent Williams is a struggle. And Trent Williams is getting older, so we'll see how they do. I still think they're going to be a very tough team to play. But, again, there's a lot of question marks for San Francisco. Next up is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who I'm putting up here in division tier. I just think they're the clear-cut number 1 team in the NFC South. I mean, Baker Mayfield has completely revitalized his career down there. Still got Mike Evans. They drafted Emeka Ibuka there. Their defense is solid. They got Bucky Irving as a great running back there. I just think this team is going to be very good. They're very tough to play in the playoffs as well. So, yeah, they're definitely up there in division. Next up is Tennessee, who are going to be down here, number 1 pick. I mean, there's just not a lot of talent there. I think Cam Ward is going to be a good quarterback for them, but he has, like, nobody to throw to down there. So, not really much to say about Tennessee. And Washington, they're going to be up here in divisional tier as well. The main thing is, can they repeat the magic that they had last year? Because no one saw that coming. No one saw the defense being good. And will Jaden Daniels be able to continue his trajectory as to being an elite NFL quarterback? Or will he, like kind of C.J. Stroud had last year, a bit of a sophomore slump where he's still very good, but not the way that they were last year. So that's why Washington's down there a little bit there. Still very, very good team. So these are my tiers. We have in Super Bowl the Eagles, Ravens, Chiefs, and Bills. Divisional got the Lions, Rams, Buccaneers, Packers, Texans, and Commanders. Wildcard got the Chargers, Broncos, Bengals, 49ers, Vikings, Cowboys, and Steelers. Meta I had the Jaguars, Bears, Raiders, Seahawks, Dolphins, Cardinals, Falcons, and number 1 pick here I got the Panthers, Jets, Giants, Colts, Titans, Patriots, Browns, and Saints. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Football season is almost here, and I can't wait to see how it goes with you guys. So like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.